What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Ultimate Expression video. I just got here at the mall and I went into the GNC store. Every now and then I take a little tour of the local supplement stores. Today I chose to go into GNC. I may run over to Your Total Fitness, but a lot of businesses here in the mall have left. I've seen some come and go. Cut to the chase, going in these different supplement shops, GNC, they're kind of, printing out some prices and sticking them up. Not too professional as far as the look. The display is okay. Some of the people that work in the store, not all of them, aren't as privy to some of the things that they need to know. It's more like they kind of rehearse some things and repeat some things, but when you get in depth, they don't know as much as they should, and they could know a little bit more. But it's a lot of sales focus. And as far as pricing, everything in the store is probably $1 more than a lot of the other supplement stores that I've been in. But I did pick up a nice protein bar in there, and it's probably a little bit overpriced in what I want to pay for it. I like to get them under $3. That one's a little over $3, and most of them in the store were. But head over to the next shop because I got a couple of things that I'm going to pick up and maybe get into some live streaming today if I have time. Now, I want to drop some information on you guys. Doing supplements is exactly what they mean. It's a supplement to your nutrition. It is not a replacement. Because oftentimes I see people in the supplement stores, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. What can I take for this? What can I take for that? And they use the supplement store like it's a pharmacy, like it's a cheat code to a prescription. But in actuality, you want to eat food. You want to have a well-rounded diet, a meal plan that suits you, and the things that you choose to put in your body, you really need to go visit a doctor, do a blood test, and see the things that you lack, and you can fill in the gaps with the supplements. Not go to the supplement store to cure your ailments for this or cure your ailments for that. It's not a total cure. It is a supplement. And I say that because I heard a guy, he's looking for some things that he can take to lower his blood pressure. And he was already taking like some beet juice and things like that, which are good. But you're doing that and it's helping, and you're looking for something else to take to help it more. And you wind up just fishing out for these little tricks or whatever that you want to call them, quick fixes, and to take a whole lot of stuff when you can actually look into foods. And I suggested to the dude, do whole grains and lower his sugar intake for the day can really help with your blood pressure. Doing things like that, having a well-rounded diet, even if you need that supplement, it's okay. But you can't supplement your way to health. Go and get food. Eat your foods, drink your waters, stay hydrated. Start there and get your metabolism going, and have a blood test, and then see where the gaps are, and you can plug in those gaps. Take a multivitamin. If you need a good multivitamin, the one I take, look down in the notes, and there's a link. I'll leave a link in this video so you guys can take advantage. But I just got out of Your Total Fitness shop, picked up some streaming supplies. I got me some ghosts. I got some strawberry margaritas. If you don't know about that, I don't know what to tell you. Going into this shop, I frequent this shop a lot. They have a lot of variety. They have a lot of the proteins that I like, and they have a lot of the protein bars. They have the first form. They have the energy drinks. They have the protein bars. They also have the vitamins. If you're looking for a vitamin pack and you have a Your Total Fitness shop, go hit them up or hit the link. Let's get on with the day. One thing about Your Total Fitness shop is if you bring in the prices like from Amazon or maybe your local competitor picture or proof of a lower price, they will price match that. That's the good thing. They have a lot of selection, a diverse selection on a lot of different products that are my go-tos and products that I use. And when I say some of these things, I'm not downplaying one business over the other. Some of you have preferences. I see these differences from one shop to the other, and I will have a preference on why I go to one versus the other, depending on the type of product. The other supplement store we have in town, or you can call it a supplement store, is the Vitamin Shop. You have a more, I think broader demographic that goes in there and shops. When I'm in there, it's usually an older demographic. They carry as much protein, energy drinks, and like protein bars as the next store. They do have specific branding in the store. Some brands I've noticed have been put in the store and taken out, or certain products of a brand that's been put in the store and taken out for whatever reasons that we won't get into here. But they are more focused on the vitamin side. Like I mentioned, some of the beetroots, magnesium, a lot of the individual minerals, a lot of the individual vitamins, the B12s, and lots of things like that. But as far as like pricing in the Vitamin Shop, they're competitively priced. The items in the Vitamin Shop are a good price. I don't have any quarrels over just 10 or 15 cents. I do have some quarrels over like when products have a discrepancy of $1 or more from one store to the next. Some products that I have preference over others, I will spend the money, even if it's an extra $1, because if I like it and I like the company, I'll spend the extra $1 if I'm out somewhere else. I'm not gonna split hairs over going to one side of town over the other. But if I'm in the market for something a little bit more specific, I'm gonna price compare, and then I'll select my product. But I know why some of you guys tune into the video is that this is part 4 of the competition. And instead of doing just straight up, narration on the match, I thought I'd point out some highlights and leave the, the kind of the reaction or the narration for another time in another place on some particular things that I'm gonna go over. Because I know my audience here isn't the type of audience that needs to know a lot of details about the jiu-jitsu, but there's some things that you can kind of learn. I'm gonna insert some clips over the things that I talk about here. Now, coming out to the match, the walkout was great. I got into the right mindset. I took my time. People ask me about being nervous about matches, and I'm more nervous before the match and leading up to the match. I set foot out into the ring and you get that first touch, all the nerves go away. I'm in the element. You get that first touch of your opponent and it's game on. In one of the other vlogs, I talked about what I expected out of the match. When I first got out there, I made a couple of different moves. They were based on him pulling guard, which I really expected. And a couple of moves that I done were kind of to test the waters. And I saw they want to engage in a little bit of wrestling. I don't mind wrestling. I'm not going to say I'm the championship, Division I NCAA wrestler, like some people would claim comments or whatever. But we got into the wrestling, and talking to him after the match, he didn't plan on wrestling either, but we got into a little bit of a hand battle, battle for our space and some of the things that we wanted. And it wasn't part of my strategy is to go in and wrestle. I strategized off of him pulling guard. I did have a secondary strategy if we had to wrestle, and I was gonna roll the dice, and I decided I could roll the dice, especially a couple of reactions that I saw from him, and then off the things that I was doing, I knew I could roll the dice. There's one thing I didn't plan for, and that was for him to sprawl off of, the shot. I didn't exactly shoot a wrestler's shot. I shot in for an Imanari roll, and he sprawled and landed in my guard. And, I'm guessing part of his strategy was to pass to the weak side, and that kind of played into where he wanted to go. We kind of battled a little bit for position so I could get to the other side, but I found that he was really pressuring to go to the weak side, what us grapplers call the weak side. He was persistent on that and had done some things out of the box that I really didn't expect, because some of my attacks put him into the position where he wanted to be. And once he got his balance and his base back, he was able to proceed with his game plan on passing to the weak side. And it's something I just I really didn't expect. I knew there's a couple of moves and, some pressure was in some different spots that I didn't expect. Made it easier on one side and harder on the other. Now, getting a little bit more detailed on through the match, he had passed at one time, and I knew, because we grappled before in training, I knew I didn't want him to close the gap on me if he passed my guard. I didn't really want to be a solid chest to chest. I wanted to create the separation. Something different when he passed. He went not really connected, but more of the knee was pinned to my hip and less chest pressure, and his other leg was away, which allowed me to fight off the hip. And I was able to, strategize and get back to my guard, but still on the weak side. And he went back into the passing, still trying to pass to the weak side. Now, there was a couple of times in the match where I did try to attack his arm. I did try to off base him to get into some leg configurations or leg entanglements that were, I wasn't successful in those. But in the meantime, during a pass, I made a couple of decisive moves, and I couldn't figure out, or I couldn't actually decide what I want to go with, and that was my fault, and not going with one pathway. I was switching up between two different pathways where he would do the one thing and I would switch, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit. He knew what he wanted, and it was a small detail that he wanted. It was that push of the knee to get the pass. I went for a position to where I'm basically trying to own some space by locking the far side of his body down and playing a little leg battle. And I lost the leg battle because I couldn't secure the arm. I probably would have secured the arm better if I had stayed with that first plan, because there's some, it's a game of inches. He gained a few inches on me to where, I couldn't come back from that, and I wound up getting my back taken. Off of the back take, I knew some of his game from before, the grappling, training with him, taking instructionals from him. The back situation, I was just really patient because I knew I had to be. And when you look at the video and you think it can be easy to escape the back attack, but not as easy as what, when you're in there, it's not that easy, because it's not just the back attack that he had, it's the back attack plus one or two moves. There's a couple of moves there's more than just a couple of moves, but a couple of moves that he had options for if I escaped in a specific way. So I changed up some of the way I escaped, and some of my timing was off, and some of the things I've done didn't quite work out right as far as moving the foot and clearing the hips. And that's a deeper conversation for another day, but some of those didn't work, and I knew I was going to have to pull off more of a double, triple move to stay out of some of the other submissions that came off of the initial attack. And it was just looking for those timing opportunities to get into that. And on the flip side, on that first choke, and it was defended, it was a little bit more particular on when he chose to attack, because a lot of it was more control than it was attack. If he's not in on one submission, other submissions open up when I go for the escape. And if I give him those, it's real easy for him to get into. So it was a little timing game. I waited until later, close to the end of the match, before I went for the escape, because I kept watching the clock. And I was gonna go more at a minute, and I decided to wait for 30 seconds because I knew that pathway that I was taking, I was gonna negate the arm bar because I didn't want to have to deal with that. I don't want my arm trapped or him having holding my wrist. I went with that escape to where he did have the triangle option. I was able to escape the triangle. It's just I spent more time escaping the triangle than I wanted to. I thought I could slip out of the backside and have the leg attack a little bit sooner. When I was escaping the triangle, there's a lot of pressure on my ears, and I couldn't hear if the bell had went off, and I couldn't hear nothing. But it was enough time to where when I got seated, I didn't know if the match had ended, and I had time to look up at the clock and see a few seconds. But when I escaped and sat to my hip, I thought the bell had went off, and I thought the match had ended. I just wish I'd have known, or maybe I'd have got out sooner so I could have attacked the legs. That's pretty much the match. Didn't win the match, but you know, I had a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be a good challenge for me going into that. Challenge of the weight cut, challenge of the match, challenge of giving up a lot of experience. I hadn't been, it'll be 3 years next year. I've been a black belt. He's a second degree black belt, so you can take somewhere around 4 years of being a black belt versus my couple years of being a black belt. I mean, that's a lot of experience. I trained with him, met him when he was a purple belt and I was a white belt. I felt like I closed the gap as far as experience goes. I closed that gap of being competitive and threatening, but for the most part defending. But defending doesn't win you matches. Fun time overall, makes for good content here, makes for good experiences. Plus the other competitions I have coming up later in the year. It really gives me a good basis, some things that I need to work on, some things to put together, some game plans that I want to execute, improve overall as a grappler, improve overall as an individual, improve overall with the nerves, the competition, all those things, improving. Thanks for tuning in. If you watch these 4-part series, thank you. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't subscribed yet. Still got good things coming. Got good things coming in the vlogs on over into the year. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Ultimate Expression 2024.